Center Arena just south of in this league. Brianna Jones and Brittany Griner to be when you're thinking about the success.
In great company.
Atlanta starts it off in their white jerseys as Indiana in their dark navy blue jerseys. Immediately we see a substitution that's going to be ready for Atlanta. Nia Coffey at the scores table. The deep dive by Bree Jones off the mark, a bit short, and Natasha Howard able to corral that in. She crosses half court. We already know that she is in range. The Rookie of the Year a season ago, also an all-star in her first year, as Kelsey Mitchell with the rock, working baseline, finds Boston. 7 on the shot clock, a little mouse in the house, and Aaliyah Boston couldn't connect. Second look, as Kelsey Mitchell wide left.
It's really going to test Atlanta's defense, especially on the on-ball screen, something Carl Smeshko said that they needed to get better at against Washington.
Poke from behind for Natasha Howard. That's something she does pretty well, as she's a former Defensive Player of the Year as well. Caitlin Clark, step back three, back iron.
Competitive this game possibly get, even though we're still in preseason. These are two teams that are contenders.
PG for three, as we mentioned it. Her third triple single season. How about this tab? She only had 9 leading up in her first 10 seasons.
And as you get older, Angel, I mean, BG still can do production in the paint as Natasha Howard puts one up over Bree Jones. But when you get older, you want to get out and shoot some jump shots. And I feel like that's the reason why Brittany Griner said, listen, I'm going to extend my range because threes are worth more than 2.
First turnover for Atlanta as Caitlin Clark going at Alicia Gray and takes one too many steps and turns it back over. Successful at Florida Gulf Coast. That was their bread and butter, in a sense, just making sure they put up the most threes, had the most 3 attempts at Florida Gulf Coast a season ago. Bree Jones showed on another attempt in the paint. That is her look.
Yeah. It's taking on the defense. Brianna Jones will get those.
A turnover. Shatori Kimbrough drains one from deep. So they'll say it was a long 2, I believe. Score hasn't changed here in the arena or on our stats here.
Walker Kimbrough getting caught up on that, losing her man on the defensive end. That's something that they work on.
So 2 triples for Atlanta. Can they get a third? And Nia Coffey a bit left.
I'll say this, the 3-point shooting for Atlanta has been on point in practices that we've seen, but also in the first preseason game. And so far here today, good defense by Brianna Jones to take an off-balance shot.
Last year, Atlanta was at the bottom of the rankings when it came to 3-point shooting. And that's something we've seen in their first preseason game against Washington as a point-blank miss for Aaliyah Boston. You can tell the frustration she has there.
And Alicia Gray keeps getting cross-matched onto Aaliyah Boston.
Off the mark. Shot 72% from the, does that make 3 now on the floor? Oh no, 1 shuts out. So 1 in for the other. Is that what we're going to see throughout the season?
Yeah. Maybe we can all skull them on the floor at one time. This place will erupt if that happens. Brianna Jones coming off a EuroLeague championship.
And just a miscommunication, and Caitlin Clark taking advantage of no weak side help. And she gets her first points of the ball game. Indiana out front by 1. Sophie Cunningham, we mentioned one of the newer additions coming over from Phoenix. So Brittany Griner's old teammate. And a foul that will go against Sophie Cunningham. That'll be her first.
Yeah, Cunningham wanted to travel, but the ref saw a bit too much hand.
We talked about how the revamped roster looks for the Atlanta Dream. Well, how about the Indiana Fever? Very aggressive in what they wanted to do in the offseason.
My goodness, we talked about the additions we added, but you've got Dewana Bonner as a presence, Natasha Howard as a presence, Sophie Cunningham, all these feisty players with fire in them, which makes them a contender.
And just having conversations with Stephanie White as well, and Caitlin Clark.
And they had a lot thrown at them last year. I mean, the way they settled in was impressive, to say the least.
0 for 2 from Shatori Walker-Kimbrough. Down the lane, took it, and they'll say the bucket is no good. Foul nonetheless, and they'll get it on the sideline.
That's okay if the bucket's no good between 10 last season.
Points, assists, and the bucket for Te-Hina Paopao. Explosive, entertaining. And Atlanta able to grab Te-Hina Paopao in the first round of the draft. Spent 3 seasons at Oregon, had all Pac-12 honors. Shot 38% from outside. John Staley loved it so much, wanted to come back for 2 seasons. In the first with her on the roster, had the undefeated season and went on to win the national championship.
And led the nation in three-point shooting during that undefeated year with South Carolina as well, in three-point shooting.
So another foul by the Atlanta Dream will send Aaliyah Boston back to the free throw line.
She forgot to take it off.
Oh, maybe it was a learned habit.
They might have. Gotta go back and watch now.
We'll go back and watch the tied at 9, just under 5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Seen a good pace for both sides. A lot of different substitutions as both teams, both coaches wanting to play with different rotations in the final preseason game.
Ooh, look at that pass.
Back door. Lexi Hall blocked Te-Hina Paopao in there.
And look at that defense. Te-Hina Paopao showing that she can play both sides of the basket.
Love for the game, saying Atlanta reminds me of home. I'm back in the South, and this was the best decision of my life.
Yeah, I think that's to your point, Autumn and Tad, what you said, just the youthfulness of it as Te-Hina Paopao not taking any time off the. We brought this up earlier too with Jordan Canada sustaining the injury in the first play of the game against Washington in the preseason game. We've been told that it's the right knee. She will be reevaluated in 2 weeks. But you'd start to think, okay, so what's the backup? Who are the opportunities that are going to be there?
So far, just not being scared to step out there and take on these bigger, faster, stronger players in the W.
I mean, she was coached also by one of the most fearless, fastest, one of the best in Dawn Staley at South Carolina.
And as a player in the W as well. A lot of people forget that Dawn played this game at a high level.
Who forgets that? 3-ball good.
I would enforce the fact that bigs can not only play underneath and dominate, but also stretch the floor and shoot that three-point shot, as we got some South Carolina on South Carolina violence going on.
The being at practice is also the terminology in which Carl Smesko uses, and we're always going to say, okay, so what did that mean at that point in time? And Caldwell couldn't get in on the three-point party, but
a lot of acronyms.
A lot of acronyms, and we said STFO. He was like spacing the floor out, and we're seeing a lot of that spacing so far for Atlanta.
Absolutely, they're pushing the pace as well, making the defense play them and not be stagnant as Maya Caldwell puts up a three, back irons it.
Same result for Maya Caldwell as Caitlin Clark, top of the key, and drains her first triple of the day, so gives Indiana the lead.
And now Atlanta with a 5-out offense.
Ryan Howard. Alicia Gray. It's turned into a 3-point attempt team.
I mean, the good thing is long shots, long.
We have the tickets. We don't have. We have no access to the tickets.
The only way I'm getting in is because I'm working.
Angel Gray, Tabitha Turner, and Autumn Johnson here with you for the final preseason game for the Atlanta Dream and Indiana Fever, as Caitlin Clark back in the game drains the three to start the second quarter. Te-Hina Paopao already seen a very good output from her offensively. Off the bench, 5 points in 5 minutes as Shatori Walker-Kimbrough at the glass couldn't connect.
It's a nice hesitation by Walker-Kimbrough. A little bit of contact, but not enough to get the call. Cece with the hand tools behind the back.
The dish on the inside to Sophie Cunningham, the biggest lead for.
Lost her behind her defensively. Howard hits the front of the rim, and that's something that Carl Smesko works on with them, and it's called plugging the hole. He said, we don't want to let anybody get behind us or outside of our defense, and on that last possession, the offense getting behind Walker Kimbrough, something that they've been working on, and again,
just missed it at the rim, rolled off from season 1 to season 2, and yes, we just have a small sample size for Caitlin Clark, but having the conversation with Steph White before the game, she mentioned just, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And coming in, I mean, from a very good NCAA season and career, straight into the WNBA, all eyes on to adjust, as well as her teammates. Time to adjust to her style of play, but it seems like she has that confidence, that poise, and the stability that Steph White was talking about that she worked in the offseason.
I mean, she had so much thrown at her so early as Ryan Howard draws the foul on Caitlin Clark, but Caitlin Clark just so impressive with how she handled that pressure as well, telling media that there's sometimes that she didn't know whether to lean on her vets and ask them a question or be that leader. She didn't know when to use that voice, because that's hard to do. As the point guard, you've got to be able to lead your team, and you're asking a rookie who has all eyes on her, who's coming straight off a national championship, to do those things, and that's tough to do. CC, and this year, she's game planning again, but as her coach, putting her in situations to where teams are going to game plan for her and try to put her in tough situations.
Where people question if you don't have the title, the chip, what does that do for your legacy? I don't think it does anything. She had an absolutely amazing career.
Absolutely.
And it was really fun, honestly, to see her go back to Iowa on her old floor and shoot from where she broke. Really fun to see her career and how it blossoms as there's another foul against Atlanta.
That switch where the
2 fouls for Tahina Powell. On the other side, Caitlin Clark has 2 as well, the ones she picked up before this possession. 6 on the shot clock. Boston going at Bree Jones, shorting the attempt, and Alicia Gray on the left leg. Slow to get up, but it looks like she'll be able to hobble herself off the floor as the trainer trying to assist, and right away Alicia Gray running to the
again and lead the league in assists. Jordan believes that she can do this with the pieces around her, and we are all wishing her the best. But for more inside-out looks, push and transition, and take care of the ball. Spoken like a true point guard, but also I'll go check in on Alicia Gray. We saw her grab her knee as well, and we'll see if she returns. Oh, she's back on the bench, actually.
Live tweeting, reporting. Thank you, Autumn.
And that's good news to hear Alicia Gray back on the bench. And it was good to see her run off on her own will as well. And they're sitting next to each other. Leash not looking happy at all.
If you know, but to Autumn's point, just the inside out, that's what led to another 3 for Tahina Powell, who's leading the way for Atlanta right now in the points department. She has 8 and a back door by Naz Hillman.
And that's that bestie connection, Ryan Howard finding Naz Hillman. We talked up their relationship for the last 2 seasons about how it feeds their chemistry on the court.
Sophie Cunningham getting in on the action. Triple now with 5 points. Atlanta on a bit of a run after that timeout.
And Angel, we were wondering how Tahina Powell would handle the pressure. And, you know, in the absence of Jordan Canada, as she's continuing to be reevaluated, who's going to step into that point guard position? And we said, well, it has to be Tahina Powell. We have enough guards at the 2 and the 3 who can bring the ball up. But a true point guard, it's got to be her.
And you're like, who's the rookie here? Like, the energy that she infuses into this team as well, with all her teammates. Very confident in what she can provide in her rookie season. Mia Coffey turned down the 3, gets it back to Ryan, still looking for her first field goal, and drains it from the wing.
She knocked it down right in front of us, and it was a line drive. I saw it. It was all the way. She's got that look of relief on her face that finally one went down.
It was 0 for 4 from the field before that last attempt as another turnover. Atlanta on a 10-3, make it 12-3 run as they are now just down 1 point. And a timeout for Steph White in Indiana as they try to right the ship. Been chirping at one of the officials, had an extensive conversation even during the free throws with Sarah Williams. And another turn. can take the lead with a bucket here. Deflected by the outstretched hands of Kelsey Mitchell. Sophie Cunningham deciding to reset things. Step back triple. And Kayla not happy.
Listen.
Wanted the foul as well.
There's nothing you can do about that, Tahina. Just go down and recover. That's Caitlin Clark's shot. It was defended well. Offense was even better. But it started with the turnover. And right there, Bree Jones with a nice pass to Walker Kimbrough, who slips back door.
But that's something that Stephanie White knows all too well, as she spent some time in Connecticut as well. Bringing her forward can be a playmaker from the top of the key. So the out double figure. She has 11, 4 for 7 from the field. Pow returning the favor and does.
I like it. Pow said, I'm an NCAA fan. Come watch me work.
She now has 11. It's very reminiscent of that rivalry we saw from Iowa and South Carolina, getting a little taste of that in the WNBA. DeWanna Bonner, triple good.
This three-point shooting on both sides is just of 11. The Dream 6 of 17.
And to think about the potent outside shooting that we're seeing from that.
Her offense, but defense to offense. She's also one that gets her hand in the cookie jar and creates offense with her steals in transition.
She was a game changer for Atlanta when she was available last season. Just mentioned her availability, only had the 20 games last year. It was such changed the dynamic in the open floor.
I don't know how many times I said this is how this team can operate when Jordan Canada touches the floor. I think I had to say it 100 times last year when we did see her touch the paint.
Ryan Howard pulls up, back iron. Now 1 for 7 from outside. Howard going at Naz Hillman, lost the handle and it rolls out of bounds. As that will be the 10th turnover for Indiana.
And that's the pressure Naz Hillman puts on you, right? Like, she's a nice post player, really the size of a guard, but somehow she's managed to find her niche. Because of her hustle and her tenacity, she's not gonna let you slower than she is or bigger than she is. She takes it to heart, how she defends. All heart, literally.
And lots of skill.
and a lot of hair, too.
7 on the shot clock for Gray as she sends it back to Ryan Howard. Has not been able to connect from outside, and that's one how effective she can be. We saw it last season. She said, a lot of people were taking away my three. I have to show them what I can do off the bounce, and you don't want to miss that in the outside attempts.
And right now, she's just finding her rhythm. That's why she's putting up so many attempts, just trying to figure it out throughout the game as Kelsey Mitchell. Well, Ryan's going to find that shot. It's been looking good lately, just not right now.
Well, Kelsey Mitchell can get in rhythm and quick. Think about her output even in the NCAA. You have the first and third best scorers in the NCAA on the same roster. It's scary hours.
We weren't sure what exactly happened.
From the film, or from the look that we got, it seemed as if it was a knee situation. We got and run back in. It's good to see. Naz Hillman outside, showing in her minutes all that she can do last preseason game. A lot of players are trying to show and earn their way on the roster. Finds the hands of Natasha Howard, gets the bucket.
In that second quarter, Atlanta cleaned that up a little bit, and that's because they've been getting some of those interior steals and deflections. And as we watch, LaToya Sanders spent her time collegiately at North Carolina for Carl Smesco and his staff that he's leaned on in his first year. Randy Poole, that spent time at Dallas. Chelsea Lyles, who he coached with at Florida Gulf Coast, and Cameron Brown as well for the Atlanta Dream, as right away, Indiana strikes first in the second half. And we talked about LaToya Sanders, how we know her as LaToya Pringle from her days in UNC when we used to play against her. It's so weird calling her.
Just down by 2 at halftime, and back-to-back looks for Indiana. Point Kings.
Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark, the way they come off screens and are able to readjust their body mid-air, the balance that it takes at that speed coming off of screens, it's very hard to do. But that three was pure.
There are shooters and there's professional scorers, and those two are the latter. Gray shifting herself on the inside. She's going to draw the foul, and Caitlin Clark picks up her third foul.
She's feisty, she's competitive, and she's a perfectionist. She wants to get it right, and Stephanie White telling us before the game that they don't like to waste reps. Her, DeWanna Bonner, Sophie Cunningham, they make the most out of their use in practice and on the court.
An awkward landing for Sophie Cunningham, holding at her ankle. The plays you always hate to see when you go up and inadvertent just landing zone.
And it happens so often too.
So 4 on the shot clock. Ryan Howard gets it to Nia Coffey, in and out triple. Alicia Gray, I don't know how she found her footing. Shatori Walker-Kimbrell gets fouled on the three-point attempt by Kelsey Mitchell.
Mitchell knows that that wasn't a smart foul. She wants that one back. Kelsey Mitchell, much smarter defender.
Shatori connects on the first one.
Yeah.
Really quickly, the clutch free throws of the game are sponsored by Free at Last Bail Bonds, the place that peak.
Shatori telling us she's free at last here in Atlanta. She can play, she can be herself. But said it wasn't awkward at all. She said when they go to Washington this week, it might be a little more awkward because it's not a preseason game and it'll be for real, but everybody was chilling and just welcomed her back.
It was fun to see her backcourt with Brittany Sykes, and there was an inadvertent collision of sorts in that preseason game, and the conference practice, that camaraderie that they've had in their tenure at Washington. Now finding a home here in Atlanta.
Yeah, both dynamic players too, just good off the bounce, athletic, and both have had stints with Atlanta. Brittany Sykes had a few after her rookie season.
Ryan Howard, who has struggled from the field today. She does have 7, just 1 for 9 though. Connecting more at the free throw line in this ball game. Bree Jones off the mark.
I mentioned how Ryan Howard, 7 points, all in the second quarter, just ignited this team. You had Tahina Powell, who started pushing the pace in that first quarter and got Atlanta back in the game in quarter. And she went 4 for 4 from the free throw line, meaning they touched the paint. And it was Atlanta.
Always something that you're looking at for Leah Boston. One of the coolest connections is her seeing how she was receiving the ball from Caitlin Clark to start this season. We're seeing a lot of different rotations too for Steph White as Bree Jones getting a rare look for the seal inside.
That was an awesome seal because she pushed Aaliyah Boston right underneath the basket. Defensively, if you're Boston, you cannot get that deep, but that's a good sign for Bree Jones, who used her body well.
Kelsey Mitchell, the Dipsy dude to the rim. She fought for every
rightfully deserved attention with Caitlin Clark last season. A lot of the attention was on her, but the Kelsey Mitchell that we saw last year really anchored that Fever team. I think she was not undervalued, but Ryan Howard getting the block, but his call for the foul on DeWanna Bonner, and can't believe it.
So that will be Ryan.
We restart the second half with a jump ball.
Defense.
So during that timeout, we were wondering what was going on. It was because there was a challenge that was called. And so it was successful for the jump ball there and a shot clock violation.
24-second violation.
So seeing some success from that challenge. No free throws, you get a stop.
Didn't get it in time to avoid the shot clock violation. Brianna Jones taking up some of that energy with Aaliyah Boston's post up.
Bonner on Howard, plenty of time on the shot clock as Bree Jones begging for the ball. Gets it on the deep seal and drains it as she falls to the deck.
In the row that she's gotten Aaliyah Boston deep underneath the basket, and it's her movement as well. She knows how to position her body.
Bodies everywhere, challenging on the floor, and another jump ball will ensue.
And something the dream has been where I don't want to run anywhere.
So Caitlin Clark will take the ball out right in front of the scorer's table. Gets it to Kelsey Mitchell up top. 10 on the shot clock. The step back pull and off the rim. Ryan Howard has been sitting at 7 points. All 7 of those points were in the second quarter as we're halfway through the third. Shatori finds Bree Jones again. The scoop!
Bree Jones saying, where's my foul at? There's a lot of contact. She is putting on a clinic in the paint, and those are not easy shots over Aaliyah Boston.
She can score in a myriad of ways. Might want to patent that scoop that we saw in the last one as Jones has 11 points, 6 in the third, and has an opportunity to build on that here. Gray finds Ryan Howard. 3-ball good, and her first points in the second half.
We can tell when her shot is going to fall because the screen didn't even need a dribble, and you can just see her line it up. We know when it's going to fall for Ryan Howard.
Hockey substitution on the way for Atlanta. Caitlin Clark in and out. Shatori thought she had a pick. Nothing there as DeWanna Bonner left alone. And too much sauce on that.
Going in. She was running the other way.
Nia again finding
Beautiful.
the dive for Bree Jones. And no points coming from that possession. Kelsey Mitchell so quick.
In a flash, she got up the court. We were still looking down here at the other end.
It was like a flash of light that we saw from the jersey as Shatori Walker-Kimbrough was talking to the official about the wrap. Caitlin Clark on the deck. DeWanna Bonner slow to get up. In this series as they have the numbers and the bucket going down for Alisha Gray.
A lot of bodies hitting the floor at both ends of the court. The refs letting them play out here. When your teammates can whip the ball around and find you, Brianna Jones is putting on a clinic on how to post up deep inside the paint.
But also the right intent and understanding where you want the ball on the floor. And we saw a couple of outside shots by her before.
In force, but when you came in and we announced that we were signing you, you are an X factor, and I told your game. I love the way you move your body, how you're active. This was the 6th woman of the year in the league not too long ago, and she's led clearances, and she's been a big part of that. So Brianna Jones, I'm excited to just have a double big lineup that we can use.
Yes, and also another player that scored over 2,000 points in her career as Haley Jones hit the last 2 free throws for Atlanta. Coach Mesko, all you've seen at practice too, working with the shot, how she's handled pressure as well. So we'll get to see more of her and what that role could be under his tutelage.
And more of in her position, right? Like last season with injuries to both Jordan Canada and Ryan Howard, she had to step in and play a lot of that point guard position. So she's got size over other guards who play in the wing. That's where her strength is.
First one good for Ashley Jones. Knowing that she can light it up from outside. Very good when it comes to connecting, and that type of style is what he's to see during his time, finding different looks from the outside. And this is, even now, when you think about players trying to find a roster spot, we don't have a development league or anywhere that you can go in the offseason. Yes, we are having the expansion, so it's fun to see the growth of the WNBA, but there's still a lot of talent out there, and these are moments where if you don't make this roster, someone is out there watching. Jones, short on the attempt. There, where can you fit with me? So.
And a lot of the time in these preseason games, you have coaches who will get a player who lit them up, and they had to defend them and then bring them back. And Stephanie White telling us that she schemed a lot against Caitlin Clark last year. And the way she wants Caitlin to play is when they practice against each other on offense and defense, they scheme against her so that she can see every little look that she'll possibly find, which makes her better for her team being able to handle certain situations and pressure.
Jones off again as Jalen Brown comes in, spent some time at Dallas. So Rainey Poole, who is now the assistant for Atlanta, very familiar with her game.
And I'm sorry, Angel. Jaylen Brown is one of those players who scored 21 points against Indiana while she was with Dallas. So that goes to show you that this coach, listen, you lit us up. I'm about to pull you into my team. Hopefully she makes the roster, but at least she's getting the shot right here in this game.
Indiana up by double figures. A nice rejection by Haley Jones.
Okay, Timpson is used to doing that to other players, not having it done to her.
Sydney Colson up top. We saw her knock down a lot of threes with the Aces, finding a new home in Indiana. Taylor Theory, a product from Ohio State. She can lock down on that side of the floor. The coach talked about her IQ and what he loved about
The roster, she's probably trying to create for her teammates and show she could be a good player. It's like, nah, shoot that thing when you open.
Lexi Hull getting downhill, finds the bucket and one, as this will be the largest lead for Indiana.
Where Jones was slow to recover.
Lexi Hull, the product and standout at Stanford, actually won it at Stanford. Jones again from outside, finally getting one to go.
Jones option, and Naz Hillman, who had eluded her defense and slipped to the rim, but Jones knocking that one down in the face of the defense.
Hull again, finding her rhythm offensively in the fourth. She's now in double figures with 10 in 17 minutes of play.
What's impressive about that with Lexi Hull is she knows how to take a back seat when she has Serge out here.
Point lead for Indiana. Sakina Pow tried to work baseline, finds Theory. 2 seconds left on the shot clock, and there won't be anything to go for Jones. So that's the level of communication. We don't see a lot of vets on the floor.
Yeah.
The only player with multiple years.
They give you bag duties, like you got to carry the bags and stuff off the plane. But it's nice that now they're doing the talent show competitions. We do it with the Hawks as well, but it's always fun to watch.
Taylor Theory streaking up the floor, gets the 2 at the rim. First points of the ball game for Taylor.
You know, as we watch all these college athletes who had amazing college careers, some champions, some NCAA tournament, just holding NCAA records, it reminds me of the talks where there just aren't enough roster spots. Even with expansion, there's so much talent out there. And it takes me back to the conversation that we had as Tamina Pow puts up another 3. But and she's only been in the league 4 seasons, her 4th season. So much talent. Not enough teams to fill the rosters, but these players are playing because their number can be called at any point in the season.
Yes. Less than 5 minutes here in the fourth quarter as Haley Jones sends that back up to Naz Hillman. The back door broken up. The 11th turnover for Atlanta. They've given 11 points.
And these exhibition games are about finding the groove, finding the chemistry, finding the niche, where you want the ball, how high, what kind of pass does this person like, where are they going to be on the court when I do this. So the turnovers I'm not too much worried about from either team because they're still trying to find out how they want to play.
So a shot clock violation as Haley Jones was trying to work her way to the rim. In the roster, I know Carl Smesko is also looking, and his staff trying to figure out what are going to be the right pieces, because after this one, there's some decisions to make.
Some tough ones too, and he talked about and from this one game. And I've got a little trivia for you, Angel.
Oh, boy.
Who from last season, who was on the Atlanta Dream staff, as Taylor Theory lights it up from beyond the arc, who on the Dream Sellers remind you of in the face?
I'm not doing this with you. That's not trivia. That's your personal opinion.
Come on. Who does she look like? I'll give you a hint. It was a coach.
I'm pretty sure it was a coach. I am not saying a word. Sydney Colson off to the right as obviously that Taylor Theory trying to earn her space in this league as Haley Jones, that patent spin move on the inside, drains it, smooth as butter, and a top to find their spot on a roster. Biggest lead with 4 for Atlanta, the biggest lead for Indiana, Fort and Hull. I don't know if I've seen a better quarter from her.
Yeah, if you want to earn a roster spot, another thing you can do is play defense. Whoever is getting caught up on Hull has got to do a better job.
Haley Jones from outside couldn't connect. Sellers. That ball near the basket. Someone in that corner finds Lexi Hull, who gets blocked by Taylor Theory.
And that's a good job by Theory, showing her versatility defensively, that she can switch on that block.
Giant Sellers picked by Sydney Colson. At this point, they're like, you are the look, you are the option for Lexi Hull.
And Lexi's just taking advantage, go out here and ball. Like we at the playground playing 5-on-5. A lot of contact right there with Ashley. You gotta think about it. A lot of these players on the court right now are either fresh out of college or have only been in the league one season. And we see a lot of turnovers, a lot of discombobulated basketball, but they're all trying to figure it out on this pro level.
And a foul will be committed. Naz Hillman will go to the free throw line, but we'll send it to Autumn for more.
Challenges in a way that clicks. And get this, y'all, Coach Mezco wasted no detailed approach to the dream.
Absolutely, that's what a lot of the different players, I know it's a new look and a lot.
We were trying to get a beat on him and trying to figure out his style of coaching. And I asked him if he had a military background, and he was like, no, he doesn't. But he said there's no middle ground, no gray ground. You know exactly what he's saying, exactly what he wants. But I like it because he doesn't have to scream and shout to do it. Everybody in practice, when he talks, he commands attention. And the players really listen to him because they know that he's taking it back to technique and form. As Haley Jones shows that she wants a spot on this team and she got drafted too.
This is a 5-point game. 14 seconds left, but it seems like they're just gonna let things play out.
Well, the next 2 times that we see Indiana, I fully expect this game to look a lot different. They're trying to figure out pieces right now that are gonna make the team competitive even tonight, just a 5-point difference.